Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. It is me, Dukect, back with you once again. How you doing? How you feeling? How are you doing this late evening here, live on this, you know, on this Thursday evening? And there's a lot of stuff to talk about. A lot of things, a lot of stuff here, a lot of good, a lot of bad, a lot of interesting stuff that's coming. You know, all the stuff here. But first, let's talk about, well, Nintendo. Nintendo has been, well, let's look at this, the bad PR they have been doing. Because the Switch 2, which I like, I do, and I plan to get it. But this type of stuff, the PR here, well, never mind. This right here is, look at this thing. You can't afford a Switch 2? The Nintendo executive, the North American, Nintendo of America president, Doug Bowse says, basically says this. It says that there are people that might be able to afford to switch to price point. That's why we wanted to make other Switch platforms available, so people have the opportunity to come to our gaming universe, be a part of the characters in our worlds, and you see value, if you will, in whatever rung in the platform they come in. So yeah, and it does basically comes right back here a couple years ago. And by the way, during this whole situation with Don Matrick saying, well, saying this, yes, remember fortunately we have a product who aren't able to get some form of connectivity. It's called Xbox 360. What did the disconnects here? And not only you have a $450 console or now 800 games, 80 games, well, 800 whatever, but the inflation finally hitting it. It's just that the price is going to be plus the tariffs and such. But yeah, this is going to be the Switch 2 is going to be a Japanese console. It's going to be 343. So there's going to probably be a Switch Lite soon, but yeah, they are getting hit by the tariffs. But also, when you have $80 games, when you have this, but yet here we are. This goes right back to the old days of the '90s of the games and everything else. But here's the difference between the '90s and now. A lot of differences. One of the main differences, and there's a couple. One, um, jobs and the economy was a lot more functionable. They actually felt like you had a chance to get a home, you had a chance to get like a house, all that type of stuff. Once you had like at least you graduated high school or college, you had the chance to actually have like hey, you can settle down with someone you really loved or cared for. Now you can't at this point. Even if you did college, you do all this stuff right. You're getting priced out. You're gonna get a shot to basically have any money and everything else. It is that type of it's so hard to get, not just have a job but keep a job, and not just have a like apartment or a house. Is hard to get nowadays. There's no way to really settle and such. And then the 80 games, it will pretty much be in that situation. It's this horrible situation that is not Nintendo's doing. It's not the video game industry as such. It is goes back to the Trump and not just Trump, but also all the the way that this is the United States, by the way, of these the mix of banks and you can say corporations as well, but not Nintendo or maybe somewhere EA or something like that. But I'm talking like big picture. These corporations who you know just there's no jobs anymore. They pick the cheaper stuff, go to other countries and cheap labor and everything else. Now you have this stuff, banks buying out all the homes and everything, and there's not much really here. In fact, that's what it is. And now you have the people right now who have no money, and combined with the fact of the tariffs that going to cost anymore. Here comes Nintendo with this. It's going to be $80 games, a $450 console, $80 games, and and Lord forbid you want to have, like, for example, the Nintendo Switch 2 upgrade of of let me see if I can find a thing. Let's see. You know, you had to get a sort of two like updates for for the Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. It's gonna be a lot harder. You understand what I'm saying? It's gonna be really, really hard. Um, that sort of stuff. It's gonna be a very hard and it's going to be way of connecting people. It's just hard to really get people back in, to buy these games, keep these games, and not just that. What are you going to do to download this stuff? You have to be a Nintendo Switch Online thing, and it's all confusing. And it's frustrating because there are some people who do want to get the new stuff. They want to join in, but that price point, $80 games, and with this person pretty much saying that, look, you can just go and get a Nintendo Switch, buddy. That's the problem. That's going to be the issue. You can't afford it, and now you have the same thing. And now this is another issue of the gaming industry. $80 games, and the fact. Let me just see if I can get the Nintendo. I think there was a thing about let's see, Switch 2 games. This right here, the physical. Let me see this from Eurogamer that they pretty much are saying Nintendo confirms some Switch 2 physical releases will have a download key. And at that point, do you really own the game? Physical copies and such, which is, we this is an issue. And like I said, I truly believe that I'm for like a both thing, but also physical copies do degrade over time and they take up space, and you can only hold so much for your games and such. So yeah, I think you should move them to a digital way, a digital place. But the real issue is that if it's going to be a digital game key, do they really own the product? Do you own the product which you buy on a digital service? In some cases, I think there was these are the issues we have now. And then you look what happened to Sony. Let's see. I know this happened, and I know this is something. Here we are. This right here. This is from Arcs Texas and such. Right here, when they're erasing all these shows from customer libraries, will be this right here from will be erased by before 2024. This is they say right here the update is that they will no longer those you bought and did all these type of stuff. Like, hey, I bought this. Guess what? Swoop, it's gone. This right here, if you don't really buy it, I mean, at what point, if you put your money in it, you bought the show and you had all the other stuff in there, then if someone can come in and take it from your own, stuff, or your, you know, expect they watched it with your own money and such. I mean, you might not care for these shows. You might not care for Wives Nights or Idiot Abroad or you know all these other shows, reality shows, or anything else, or Mythbusters or something. Guess what happens? You know, these shows, Stark Week, Say Yes to the Jets, Cake Boss, like the Mythbusters, they were just gone even after you bought them. So what does that tell you? What does that mean when you do have this digital service and such? Who and I wonder what is going to be there. This is going to get to the Supreme Court in the United States. I think this is going to happen, and these licensing agreements doesn't. And then when someone can say, "Yeah, nope, we don't want this anymore," and just take that from you, what do you do? That's going to be the real hard questions. And when you add to this and all this other stuff that's going on with you got this here. Then you have you add this to then you look at this, again, like I said, talk about this subject here. You got Nintendo will be only physical releases a download key. This is what also you're gonna have. And then when you have this, add up all of this, plus you can't afford the whole thing and switch to, and basically saying, oh, just keep your Nintendo Switch as you need to be and such, which is basically, repeating the same thing of Don Matrick all those years ago, what this article says. This does hurt the Switch 2's capability, because I like the Switch 2. It looks pretty cool. Playing GameCube games on the go, awesome. Doing all this stuff is great. I mean, playing one of the best, Zelda games, Wind Waker. I loved it back then. I still have my GameCube right there. I have my GameCube, and such. I still have my GameCube, and I still have the Wind Waker, and I got the Wind Waker HD collection too. I just need to get a new Wii U controller because Wii U controllers are getting a little bit old. The stuff. I need to fix that rumble stuff feature. But overall, I still love the Wii U control, even though it's frustrating. Oh, let me just see if I can get this. Just oh gosh, I remember this. Thank you, Surf Shark. Let's turn it off. But yeah, but yeah, like I said, like I said, this is um a way of Nintendo's not doing a good job with PR, and I think that's one of the main issues with the PR in Nintendo Switch, and to about building that stuff up. What and then what can they do? But have again, I wish they could just look and say, okay, um, if I was them, I would just be like, okay, knock the price down to like $400, and I think the games is gonna happen. They've been fight this the $80 game thing has been here. I think it's finally going to happen anyway because quite frankly, it was this thing. The video games industry has been doing this dance probably since what 2000 and probably about 2001 and 2002. Like the games were 40, 50, now 60, and now 70 in some places. But yeah, this was going to happen eventually. The days of the $50 game is over. It's been over, and I think the $50 to $60 games is over. And if they were, and I think Nintendo, is probably going to be, at least with Nintendo games, at least there's actually going to be a full game there. For the most part, it's going to be at least there's going to be stuff there already in there, and it looks like Nintendo. I mean, Mario Kart World at least will have like stuff there, so you don't have to worry about it. And Donkey Kong Bonanza looks like it's going to be fun, so I have all that stuff into it, so it does have to worry about like glitches or whatever. The only one I worry about is the new Pokemon game because the Pokemon games, the 3D Pokemon stuff, whoo boy, that is horrible. So yeah, I think that's one thing. My hope, but that is always my hope, is that they can get it right. But who knows? I don't know what this. Like I said, the solution is keeping maybe knock the price down, knock the Switch, and stuff like that. And if you want to do $80 games, if the industry wants to, do $80 games and all that fun stuff, my solution is and such like that is wait till the economy is actually good and actually doable to have $80 games. And when they do the $80 game dance, make sure the games are finished. They're done, especially the single player. The single player games are done. There's no bing bang. Oh, we gotta do this. No, the games are done. You don't have to be half baked crap and you fixed up and have we have a year plus edition, so you can get all the stuff anyway. That's the game is actually finished. No, games need to be taken care of. Like okay, instead of spending trillions of dollars on like AI stuff and 4K or whatever, get a good team together. Don't abuse them. Don't do all the usual stuff of these things. Don't do crunch. Actually, say you know what, we're gonna make sure these gamers, these people who make the games, and have enough time to finish the product. Uh, and if you need to do a trailer or whatever, then make sure the product is not like 3 or 4 years away. Do it when it's like a year away, if not maybe sooner. That's what I believe is best for, well, as one would say, best for business, is to basically make sure the product is there sooner rather than later in people's hands. Make it a complete product, right? If it's good, bad, or different. Because, the people in the indie scene are doing great, but, I think you need to return of the mid-market games badly. This industry needs the mid-market games. If they don't get the mid-market games soon, You're going to see a complete and total. There will be another crash. Nintendo will probably be fine, but I think you look at what's happening with Sony and Microsoft. They're going into the clouds or whatever. They're going over there in multi-platform, and I worry because if Nintendo's the number one dog again, it's going to be a very what is their competition going to be? It's just going to be PC versus Nintendo, and that's it. And that's a shame thing. That's a daggone shame, you know. But that's just my personal opinion. I want to hear what your thoughts are. Leave something in the comment section below. Thank you for the likes and all that good stuff. Subscribe, like, and comment below. Let me know. And we'll be right back right after this because, oh boy, thinking about things that are failing and everything else. We're going to talk about we're gonna talk about AW. And ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be a very, very interesting conversation. We'll be right back here live on the Dukect Lounge. Thank you so much. Again. Oh yeah. Yes. Oh yeah, that's good. And there it is. By the way, the Capitals just came back 4-2. People were panicking, and there it is. And now everyone needs to relax. Everyone needs to relax. We need to relax, by the way. So relax, folks. That's at the end of the day. That should be it. Anyway. Oh, by the way, before we get to that, there's more Nintendo Switch stuff. Oh gosh. 3 new Genesis games, if you remember. It's gonna be whoa. Oh goodness. Eastward Under Siege, Streets of Rage, and Super Thunderblade. I might there's gonna be some stuff tonight. I'm gonna be playing some of that tonight. Oh yes, tomorrow. Oh, tomorrow I'm gonna be studying some Streets of Rage. Maybe I'll stream that. If you want me to stream Streets of Rage, leave some in the comments. Anyway, we're gonna be doing that. Anyway, I'll be right back right after this here live on the Dukect Lounge. And thank you so much for listening to me, Dukect. We're right back right after this.